What is up, my Lorcana goons? It is a sad day in Lorcana history. Pixelborn is dying, and it's just been announced by Pavel Online that we are no longer going to be able to play Pixelborn after June 15th, I believe. In the middle of June, Pixelborn is going to be closed down, shut off for good. And if you don't know what Pixelborn is the online client, and you see me playing right here. Why am I playing while I'm talking about it? That's because I need as much practice as possible for the next Lorcana challenge that I'm going to, which is going to be Fort Worth. The moment I heard Pixelborn is going to shut down, I hopped on immediately because this is how I practice for Lorcana for since the game came out. It's the reason why I was so into it in the first place, and why many of us are able to use some of the cards before they come out. And now that's going to be closed down. Pavel has made it public today. Sad day in Lorcana history. I need as much testing as possible, and we're going to go over what it means for the future of Lorcana, what the community is saying, and what I personally feel about it, especially that now that I know that I have the Lorcana challenge in Fort Worth to go to. Like I said, I need as much practice as possible. So from here on until June 15th, I'm going to be on. But if you like this content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you are a Lorcana goon, because it does support the channel. And if you want this deck list, remember to check our Discord so you can see what I post about. Ooh, and we got the dub. Earlier today, Pavel, creator of Pixelborn, this is the main dude, this is him on Twitter, made this post in the Discord, and then obviously screenshotted it and posted it on Twitter with the caption saying, "It breaks my heart to say this, Pixelborn is shutting down." Full announcement in the Discord. It says, "Hey everyone, earlier this month, Disney representatives contacted me. I was advised that Disney has intellectual property rights in the Disney Lorcana cards, and that Disney has requested Pixelborn to respect these rights by not copying the cards in any way, suggesting an affiliation with Disney. I've always stated I would respect such request, and I plan to keep my word and will not grasp at any technicalities. Pixelborn will stop the support for Lorcana before 16th of June 2024. The Pixelborn Discord server will remain a safe and welcoming place to discuss everything Lorcana. My heart is shattered to pieces. I've put everything in this project for the past year and a half, every night, weekend, and holiday. I know it meant a lot to many people as the only way to experience the game we all love. I genuinely believe Ravensburger is the best company that could have developed and now supports the game. The past weekend proves that Lorcana has a bright future. Thank you to all sharing this journey with me. You may not realize it, but every single one of you matters. With all the charity donations we've made, we really brought meaningful change to the world. If you ever feel down, remember always that I will always cherish you. Forever yours, Pavel." P.S. Thank you to Cabled, Antojo, Marcel, Cascade, Keys, Speedy, Alonzo, Senate for all your help running the server. Pixelborn would have not been here without you. I am forever grateful. So, a very sad post with a bunch of reactions from the community. Mixed reactions. People are heartbroken. People are hurt. People are scared about the future of this game. I am shook. I'm shocked. You saw what I just said. I am going to utilize as much time as possible right now to play Pixelborn. As a big thank you to Pavel. I'm going to still see if I can just even donate some of the money to the charity through their Patreon and whatnot. Just, as a huge thanks and because we only have it for a limited time, and we're going to be playing the Lorcana Challenge in Fort Worth. And me, as someone who is like a semi-competitive player, I really want to practice as much as possible. And the problem with not having Pixelborn at your disposal is that it starts to become a more pay-to-play situation for somebody like me who might not have the money to spend on every single card or a play set of every single card every time a set comes out. You know what I mean? And obviously I don't want to just print out proxies and stuff like that, because you can't use proxies at local tournaments. And being able to use Pixelborn means I can practice the game a little bit without having to spend all my money that I can't necessarily afford. And the thing is, I'm able to pick and choose which cards I need to actually use for my deck, and that's a huge thing for someone like me who, I feel like I have to count my pennies, make sure I have enough money to pay all the bills at the end of the month. California is not a cheap place to live, so stuff like Pixelborn helps the players like that, the budget players like myself, the players that maybe want to be more on the collectible side. You can understand the meta trends too by playing Pixelborn. But my first immediate thought is, obviously, are we going to get an online client instead of Pixelborn? Is Ravensburger, Lorcana, Disney, are we going to be getting an online client? I'm sure a lot of us are feeling this way. A lot of us want an online client, and right now in 2024, a TCG, a trading card game without an online client does not sound like a modern game. It does not sound like a game that people are going to put their time, hard-earned time, money, and efforts into continuously playing. And quite frankly, I feel like the IP can only go so far, and like what Pixelborn did for the Lorcana community in terms of growing its consumer base, but overall just growing the player base as a whole, is going to be like incomparable unless we get an official online client. There's so many people who straight up picked the game up, who just straight up went to Target, went to their LGS. The moment I showed them Pixelborn, they bought cards as soon as they started building decks on Pixelborn, not the other way around. You know what I mean? So an online client gets you way more people to play your game and to buy your cards, rather than take away from that. I feel like for a long time, there wasn't a lot of online clients for TCGs, and now it's like the thing. We Marble Snap, Hearthstone, all of these games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, a lot of these are even just games that themselves, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links even, they're games that themselves, they're already embedded in the online space. And it's a little behind Ravensburger to not have something ready. And now if I want to like test cards, test certain decks against like opponents, I'm either gonna have to play remote with like a webcam, which means I'm gonna have to have reliable internet, reliable like streaming capabilities. I have to have a nice webcam camera, and then if I want to play tournaments with new cards, I'm gonna have to buy all these new cards every single time, instead of like being able to practice them online. Like I want to be able to practice some of these legendaries without having to spend like the legendary prices before I buy them for my decks. What if I can make a budget deck instead of spending $60 on a Diablo, and that's just for one? So if I want to play a set of Diablos, I need $240. And what if I end up buying that and I don't like that deck, or maybe it's just a deck that ends up getting cycled out in the meta and it's not as good as we thought because it was hyped up. And being able to play Pixelborn and practice those things before they happen in the real life space, where your actual the monetary, like the money in your pocket means a lot. It can make or break you sometimes. Yeah, this is a game, it's a hobby, but for a lot of us, like it's our main thing. It's like our sport, it's our bread and butter. It's something that we don't want to go without. Plus, this also makes it so that if you are just someone who has more time available to you, maybe somebody who works more from home, or somebody who doesn't necessarily have like a family or kids or something like that, you're probably going to be able to play the game a little bit more, maybe even just overall have more practice than like the average other person, just because you can't play online anymore. You can't play an online simulator to practice. I live in Los Angeles, California. The traffic here is insane sometimes. If I get off work at like 5 or 6, depending on if I'm even working outside the house that day, then I have to drive to the local game store, the LGS. And if I'm driving through California, Los Angeles traffic, most local game stores start their tournaments at 6 or 7 o'clock, right? And driving through traffic takes an hour. Half the time I'm not even sure if I can make it on time for the tournament when it starts. And on top of that, I have a dog. I got things to do. I can't even go home after work, change, maybe eat something before I go to the local tournament. I have to go from work straight to locals and skip all that stuff just so I can get some practice in Lorcana on like the weekday local game store days. Without Pixelborn, I just wouldn't have time to play the game to that extent. Yeah, I can make time on weekends, but there's people who work on weekends too. Some people work more than 40 hours a day. Maybe you just want to play the game at like 2 in the morning when you can't go to sleep. You know what I mean? Some of us, some people still are in school, they're in college, maybe they want to play in between classes. They can't necessarily go to the local game stores on the weekdays or these crazy tournaments all the time. And like I said, a lot of times you want to test different colors. You want to test Amber Steel. You want to test Ruby Amethyst. You want to test Sapphire Steel, but you can't necessarily afford every single color, every single card. And at the end of the day, I think you want your people to play the game, right? And the best way to play the game is to have an online client that has a healthy economy. And I say that with a grain of salt because there's so many other TCGs that have like good and bad online clients. So I am a little, worried and concerned to see what this means for the future of Lorcana. Not necessarily whether or not the game is going to be successful, because I think regardless, there is going to be success. There is going to be success with this game. However, I just want to see a healthy online simulator that is affordable for people to play. So I had a lot of friends hit me up after, I got the top 16 at the first Lorcana challenge and all that stuff, about games from people who play other games, asking me about Lorcana. And I was obviously letting them know, hey, you can download a Pixelborn to practice and play and learn the game a little bit before you start buying all these cards. And now they just hit me up saying, hey, you know what? I guess I'm not going to be playing Lorcana. I guess I'm not going to be buying any Lorcana cards. Like just yesterday, friends were sending me screenshots of TCG player orders being like, look, I'm ordering my cards for the next set championships because they want to win the Ursula. And as soon as this news broke, they're sending me screenshots of them canceling their TCG player orders, straight up saying, I guess I'm not going to play this game. And it's a little disappointing. So, you know, I went ahead and tweeted from the Lorcana Goons Twitter saying, to Pavel, without you, this game wouldn't have been half as successful as it is. And I even went as far, I went as far as to take it a little bit of a step further. And then I went as far as to take it a little bit of a step further. I said, seriously though, Pixelborn shutting down equals less people will play Lorcana, which is a bad thing. Hope I'm wrong though. I genuinely hope that I'm wrong with this sentiment, but this is how I genuinely feel. I think some people don't realize how important Pixelborn is to the Lorcana space, and you know, because I have been seeing some people say, you know, we're gonna just have to take it back like the old days. We're gonna have to play card games like it was back in, like, you know, in 1998 and whatnot. But guys, we're not in that era anymore. We're in the era of smartphones and digital atmospheres and stuff, and you know, we just, and it's such a fast-paced lifestyle that a lot of us don't have the time to necessarily go to a local game store multiple times out of the week. And you know, it's going to put some people at an advantage and some people at a disadvantage, because playing this Lorcana challenge, when we were in like Top Cut, there were so many names I recognized, and people that I know by their Pixelborn handle. It's actually just crazy, you know what I mean? So shout out everybody and all the friends that we've made along the way playing Pixelborn. Shout out everybody involved in Pixelborn. So anybody who played tournaments. It's such a blow to the community. So I do want to go over some of the community sentiment. Some of these tweets that I've been seeing. That some people talk about. Basically, we have Saviz here saying, "I'm very sad about the shutdown on Pixelborn. It wasn't a complete surprise, but I was hoping it would have happened at the time when the official client comes out. No word of any official digital client as of now. I need to figure out what to stream now. I'll still make a Lorcana video here and there, but obviously there is no feasible way to make gameplay content now, and the other type of content will most likely be limited to some deck lists and news. Really, I don't know if I can provide value to the community as much as I did with my high-level gameplay and commentary. Guides with just talking are not really that engaging. Got a lot of thinking to do, but I'll be fine. I got a lot of things going for me outside of Lorcana content creation, but it certainly was the thing I was most interested and passionate about at the moment." So that's another thing too. There's a lot of Lorcana content creators who were doing so much for themselves and the community by streaming on Twitch, YouTube, making Lorcana content videos, myself included. I was starting to stream Pixelborn, and I was super excited because I got a PC setup. I mean, I got a PC setup because I, you know, make videos like this as well. But still, you know, I was able to stream gameplay now. It's the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, I was able to stream a video game to, you know, to a YouTube channel, and now it's getting taken away from me. But you know, I have my hopes high, and I'm just gonna assume that they just haven't told us when we're getting the online client. So hopefully a lot of other streamers are able to also see the bright side in things and have other stuff going for them as well. We have Brando Honey Wizard saying the sentiment is what we're talking about. Without an online client, Ravensburger and Disney Lorcana are going to halt the freight train that was Lorcana. Hopefully they have something in the mix. Escape Pod of the Lorcana podcast says, "This is extremely disappointing and disheartening. As someone who plays a lot of Lorcana online due to not having a conventional schedule, Pixelborn was my go-to place to play. Thank you, Pavel, for everything he has done for the community and how he has helped the hit grow." RMB, who just finished in top 8 of the first Lorcana challenge, says, "After what was arguably the best competitive event I have ever played, Disney has just killed Disney Lorcana. Issuing a cease and desist to Pixelborn was probably the worst business decision you could have made. Words cannot begin to describe how sad I am right now. My brother, I am also sad. I feel you. How about how sad you are? You know, again, I feel like the game is going to be alive and well. I am not super worried about whether or not the game is going to survive, but 20 Lore Pro said, Pavel and the Pixelborn community really did reach out and help so many charities. They gave 4,000 to the 922 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline when 20 Lore hosted the HBM. Thank you, Pavel, for all you've done for the community and this amazing game." We got Magic Hubert Lorcana 247 saying, "Thank you, Pavel. The game would not have been the same without you. I hope Ravensburger and Disney will hire you for their online client." We got Lorcana TTV flexing how much Lorcana product they bought when Ursula's Return hit the shelves just recently, saying, tagging Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger saying, "I bought more #Lorcana merch than I otherwise would have due to playing on Pixelborn. Sad, day. Look how much they bought though. That's like 4 boxes, 2 troves, a gift set, Lumineer's Quest. Wow, love to see it. And just like we were saying, they bought it because, you know, they were playing on Pixelborn to learn the game before. And I watched their stream on Twitch. They were streaming Pixelborn too. So Lorcana TTV, shout out you. Inkdex went ahead and said, Pixelborn has been an incredible gift, propelling Lorcana to new heights in record time. To us, it stands as a prime example of how a solo founder can build amazing products and communities. Thanks a ton, Pavel. The Lorcana community owes you big time. Jeebus says, unsure about what I'm going to stream forward. For now, I will do Lorcana until at least after Chicago, or maybe until wheels fall off on the 16th. But after that, I will be up in the air for somewhat. Labs Analyst says, if Disney, Lorcana, and Ravensburger have an official online client in the works, now would be an amazing time to let us all know. Lorcana TCG at Lorcana News says, this is a sad day. It's hard to practice without a digital client. I feel that one, dude. Chad Claire says, Pixelborn and Pavel supported this community for so long when the cards were nearly impossible to find. This game was picking up speed with so many new people getting on board and streaming. It will be interesting to see where it goes from here. Yes, that's another thing too. In the very beginning of Lorcana, the cards were impossible to find. It was super expensive. It was extremely difficult to play this game. And at that time, especially, you know, investing in decks and cards you weren't sure if you were going to play or not was just super risky, you know, and having Pixelborn just made it so much easier. Cardboard Castle says there has to be an official Lorcana client coming from Ravensburger soon. I'm just cautious of it, especially because of all the recent issues with Pokemon TCG Live. Ooh. Definitely sad to hear, says Empty Apartment 3. Hope this wouldn't have come anytime soon since I don't expect Ravensburg to have their own digital client in the near future. Thank you, Pavel and the PB community. I for sure wouldn't have been half the player I am without it. Such a fun, easy way to jam games in practice. Yep. Impact TCG, shout out you, went ahead and pointed out that Pixelborn is trending on his Twitter feed. And then so many comments in support of Pavel talking about how much Pixelborn has made an impact in the Lorcana community, whether it be competitive players like myself thanking them for the results they've had at their locals, at their tournaments, at these Lorcana championships, or just people in support, friendships that have been made through Pixelborn and through playing this game online, tournaments that we've all entered, streamers who have been using Lorcana and playing Pixelborn online as a way to make friends, as a way to get through life. There's so much happening today in the Lorcana community, and my heart goes out to everybody involved with Pixelborn. But Pavel, I appreciate you. Everyone that I've met, that I've played against on Pixelborn ladder, you know, I appreciate you. Like I said, I'm gonna keep trying to stream as much as possible, at least for the time being. Until then, you know, I'm also just gonna keep playing the game as much as I can in real life. It's gonna be harder for me to play, and to really keep it that competitive. You know, I haven't really been doing Pixelborn content on the channel anyways, but the fact of the matter is that now we're not gonna be able to do it at all in the future. So we're really gonna have to get creative with how we show off some gameplay stuff, you know, how maybe we want to showcase how to learn certain things in the community, because Pixelborn was such a easy tool to teach that as well in terms of like being a content creator. But I want to hear from you guys in the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say about Pixelborn, some nice things, some experiences you guys have had. What do you think this means for the future of Lorcana? Is the game dead? Do you think the game's going to be alive and well with or without a digital client? And what would you like to see in an official digital client for Lorcana? Do you want it to be free to play? Do you want it to be the same format, different format? What have your experiences been with a digital client? And just let me know what you're feeling. And if you guys want to play some games, some remote games, maybe join our Discord. We're going to start setting up some ways to play remote right there. Personally, I don't like remote play, especially not remote play tournaments. Hate to bring this up, but in other games that I've played, remote play tournaments usually lead to some type of cheating, which is not my favorite. So I do want to go ahead and say, if you do want to remote play, it's going to be casual in our Discord only for practice reasons, you know. And RIP Pixelborn, and you know, shout out everybody who I've ever played on Pixelborn ladder. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, and we'll see you goons next time.